So it's Monday morning, you're depressed with your life. Let's bring some joy, some happiness, some laughter. I got recommended a video from one of my loyal audience members, Jesus Christ. Yes, that one. And I thought I'd go over it. So it's a video from a YouTube channel, small channel. Go and subscribe to them. Bad Boys Done Good, where they interview Francis Foster from Trigonometry. I think it's going to be a laugh, so let's get straight into the video.
And I'm feeling shamed.
It can't be nice, Francis.
No, well,
Being a cuck.
why do all UK comedians suck? And I laughed and went, yes, they do. We have trans athletes taking part in the Paralympics.
And you hate that.
You would have Bill Cosby on the pod.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot to talk about.
Triggering leftoids with truth bombs. Don't deny it.
Constantine, let me get a word in.
Yeah, it's
You're hurting. It's okay, Francis. You can talk.
I feel like we're in the time of the sort of revenge of the dweeb.
We've tried to interview Corbyn many times. He doesn't want to come on.
Don't insult Jeremy Corbyn. Have you enjoyed yourself?
No.
I recognise that guy on the right. The glasses. They are both comedians, so this is going to be funny.
Red background. I like that.
Here we are then. Today on Bad Boys Done Good, we are joined by podcaster and open mic comedian Francis Foster. Welcome to the pod, Francis.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Welcome.
Now, I know you're a far-right comedian, so I've got you some left-wing snacks. Got some Innocent Smoothie there.
Oh, thank you.
Got you a Naked Bar.
Yeah, thanks.
And some
Woke.
pears, just so sort of even you out a little bit, because you need left and right to fly.
It's true. Keep me regular.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
I'm excited that you're about to, by the time this broadcast, you'll probably be hitting 1 million subscribers. It's a big number.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. How much money have you got?
Not as much as you would think.
She
How
doesn't
do you
answer,
know
but
what I'm thinking?
Because you think I'm a millionaire.
Who said that? Did I say
I
that?
can tell by your facial
Did
expression.
Tony say that?
No.
Constantine's a millionaire.
I'm a millionaire,
I do all right.
allegedly.
They probably do okay on ad revenue, but they've probably got one or two editors, probably someone who books the guests. So they've got a handful of staff, and they probably pay them all right. So they probably don't get as much as you think, but they're probably doing all right. Maybe not millionaires. Maybe. I don't want to speculate about Kissing if he gets more money. Is it 50-50? I doubt it is, but it would be interesting to know.
Well,
Francis?
It's sometimes impolite to talk about money, but you're a big platform. So, it's people, our listeners are curious. How much do you pay a guest?
We pay travel, and so if you come to watch the show, come to be interviewed on the show, we pay your travel expenses and everything like that.
It's a sort of power move. You're sort of saying, we ain't going to pay you.
Yeah.
We're going to use your name, your face to accentuate our fame, bring in more money, but you're lucky to be there. So jog on if you don't want it. Is that right, Francis? Would you say that?
No,
Jog on.
no, I wouldn't. I'd say that we make sure that we show you that we put everything into production, and so that we can create an incredible interview, so that you can plug your book, your movie, whatever it is.
Well, we're trying to do an incredible interview. It's a very different sort of platform. And
Yeah.
We're very glad to have you here. This payment was complicated for Francis, wasn't it?
That's right. Well, you paid us to be here, which we appreciate. I know you were very keen to come on the pod. You were emailing us a lot last year.
£150. Thank you.
Very sweet of you, Francis.
And Francis Foster obviously is not a stage name, but is Constantine Kissin a stage name? Because it's one letter short from KKK. And it also suggests he's kind of good with the broads, or the guys. I'm a queer.
Or the guys. Okay, no, he's.
Constantly kissing a hairy asshole.
I mean, you added the last part in there. To be fair,
I watch a lot of the interviews. You don't say too much.
I don't say too much.
I see his hand. His hand goes up when you start speaking. Just a little small gesture, and then you can't.
These guys are left wing. You can just tell, the KKK joke. I like these guys, And I really think this is how you deal with people like Francis Foster Kissing. You've just got to mock them. That's the only way. Trump, the far right, Farage, they don't like it. They just don't like it. This is the only way to deal with them.
pipe down. And then you go do that thing again of just sort of laughing at what he's just said or saying, yeah, that's right. That can't be nice, Francis.
No, well,
Being a cuck.
being a cuck.
It's okay. You could talk about this. Be vulnerable here.
This is a mental health podcast.
Francis seems like he's arrived there. I'm not sure he knew what he was getting himself into, but, he seems like a good egg. All considered.
This is a mental health
And you can
podcast.
tell us about what you're going through with him because we've seen it. We understand. It's just between us and the Patreons, and eventually when we release it, the wider audience. to
Yeah,
world.
the wider audience.
But there must have been a moment when you thought, "This isn't kind. I'm being mistreated here."
No, because what Constantine likes to do is to talk about the ideas, and what I like to do is very much ground it in the real world.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about when he's interviewing someone?
Yeah, because you don't talk much. You're sort of the silent partner. So you bring it to the real world. Is that? I mean, being quiet. Are you thinking about the real world where you're just sitting there?
So I don't talk much. I would suggest that I do talk.
Well, you talk, but obviously Constantine is controlling the edit because you're not getting much in. It's always him. He's always got the final say. He's always doing the big questions. But when did fame change him?
When did fame change him?
He likes repeating the question. Is,
Yeah,
is he
he does.
buying
Yeah.
time? What's
think
happening
so.
there, Francis? Why are you repeating the question on everything? Is that a sort
It's
of
not a
nervous tick?
it's not a natural flowing conversation like on trigonometry. On
Yeah.
trigonometry, do you hate a trans kid? Oh yeah, well this is why. I got reasons. I got factoids here.
Do you hate a trans kid? Oh, I love it.
To tell you about the past. But with you, it's, why was Constantine bullying? You got to be quick. But we could. You're obviously a bit nervous. You ever done a med?
I did a video the other day with them, and there was a moment when kissing, and you could just see it, like a bit of anger in his face, a flash of anger, like, how dare you disagree with me? And I reckon, I don't know, this is speculation, but like, what is kissing like in the background? Like, because he's doing well, like, it'd be very interesting to know.
mental health podcast?
Yeah, I've done Rich Wilson's podcast,
Okay.
which was it was slightly different in tone to this.
I've noticed you started off in the comedy world.
Yeah.
Prepare you, and you got a lot of huge American acts
Yeah.
doing the pod.
Yeah,
Bill
indeed.
Burr, Theo Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the brand is kind of a bit toxic to British comedy.
Yeah.
You don't have too many British comedians, which I think is a shame. Why do you think that is?
Because we've had a few comedians on.
Mark Steele?
We've had Andrew Lawrence. He's not toxic.
God.
I want to hear about Jason Manford talking about the Islamification of Europe. And Jack Whitehall talking about
Jason Manford talking about that. I would watch that.
the trans lobby, whatever the fuck.
A lot of them.
What's keeping them back?
A lot of them don't want to come on the show.
Why not?
Why?
I don't know. We say, look, you come on. You can come on.
Travel expenses?
Yeah, we get travel expenses.
What's not
I'd love to see Stuart Lee on trigonometry.
to love?
Exactly. We've interviewed, Russell Peters. He was a British space comic at one time.
I want some left wing voices here because it's all.
Oh, we've had Mark Steele. Mark Steele's a left wing.
When was that?
A
4
couple of years
months
ago.
Okay.
5 months ago.
Now we're talking.
People say when we said to our friends that we had you on, people said, "Oh, this guy's dangerous."
Mm.
He said, he's posing as left wing, but he's, laundering fascist views. He's a secret right.
4 months ago. When was this recorded? Like that Mark Steele was at least a year, if not 2 years ago.
wing guy. Why have you got this reputation?
I don't know. I think I'm a good guy. Do you
I
know?
think you're a good kid, but this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it here.
Yeah. Do you think I'm a good guy?
I'm open to interpretation. I don't like to make my mind up too fast. I think you're a bit wet at this stage, but there's time. There's time for you to set like a pudding.
Yeah.
And that might happen. I've been surprised before. I might be surprised here. So
Yeah.
far, you seem quite evasive.
You could be open.
Bit wet.
I will do my best to be
Tell
open.
us what's
to that.
on your mind.
Yeah. I am. I am sharing what I think and feel.
Francis, you're a huge success now.
Yes.
And this is unprecedented. I imagine when you were a toilet attendant, and you were a hustling drama teacher,
Yeah.
you can't have dreamed of such huge ascent to stardom now. I feel like we're in the time of the sort of revenge of the dweeb, the sort of 3-inch cock brigade are having their moment.
Absolutely.
This seems like a great time to be an underdog, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, if you're far right now, you are far right, aren't you, Francis?
I would not say that, no.
Trigonometry
No one on the far right says that. Unless you're stupid.
is a far right podcast. Would you agree with that or not?
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
If it's not far right, out
Yeah.
comes
He's smart. He knows. He knows.
when you turn the word trigonometry upside down and put it in the mirror, it says Chairman Mao and Pol Pot, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. Is that an accident? Is that just a coincidence, Francis?
Yeah, it is just a coincidence. I don't think we had designed it that way.
Right.
Well, presumably the name itself, trigonometry, refers to some kind of
I wish they could. They'd never do it. But if they got kissing in on this would be amazing.
fucking mathematical equation, or the real reason.
Mm.
It's about triggering fucking leftoids with truth bombs. Don't deny it. That's what you wanted to do with that name.
No, actually, what we wanted to do is say, because we started the podcast in 2018, it was a trigger warning to say we're going to have conversations about subjects that are controversial.
What increased the viewership the most? What tragic world event? Was it COVID or the Israeli war?
It was lots. It was what increased the viewership and the listenership. I'd say COVID, number one.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So
Good time for you, lining the pockets. With that with millions.
I didn't look.
You must have been rubbing your hands at the thought.
Actually, I was very against the lockdowns. I was publicly critical, and I said these are going to do a tremendous amount of damage.
Conspiracy theories.
And then we saw another surge when we were starting to talk
He's got all the talking points, hasn't he?
about the war in the Ukraine. And we were talking about Israel-Palestine after the horrific events of October the 7th.
How, have you had any backlash as a Jew?
Everybody thinks I'm Jewish online. But, well, when I say everyone, I mean the anti-Semites.
And how's it been as a Jew?
I've been called a fake Jew, a secret Jew. Some called me a fat Jew. I mean, that's what really hurts.
So you've benefited from global events
And Jewish
war,
privilege.
anything where there's a sort of upheaval, deaths, war, cultural civil war. That's when you've got more subscribers. Is that fair to say?
I think what happens is when those events happen, people are naturally more interested in a conversation, and we try and have good faith conversations.
So when you see that on the news, you think, we're in business, Constantine. Pick up your fucking phone. There's been a bomb.
Yeah.
This is going to be a couple of thousand new subscribers.
Absolutely.
Do you see a bomb landing on children and think fucking dollar signs? Here we go. Do you get a little semi?
No.
He does. Look at him. He does. Look at his little face. He does. He knows what he's doing.
You're laughing at the question.
Yeah, I think it's a very funny question.
So there's no part of you that gets gratification from world tragedy because you know that it's going to build up your brain.
No, not at all.
Well, you started the podcast and your original tagline was, "We don't pretend to be experts. We ask the experts." You don't use that anymore. Is it because you're now experts or you're talking to some fucking morons?
Which one is it?
Well, it's a good question. So, no, we're not experts. Neither of us pretends to be experts.
Oh, that's funny. They don't like experts now. Apart from their experts.
And also, as well, because we talk to people like comedians about comedy. I don't think any comedian would describe themselves as an expert. And if they
Do they talk to comedians? Like, how many comedians do they do? That most of the time is. I mean, I'd be up for that, but they don't. They just talk to like just people on the far right with kind of quite radical views, like trans, Israel, like they don't really talk to comedians.
did, they should rapidly lose that title.
You got a new one now, which is Honest Conversations with Fascinating People. How come it's never a working class teacher of color and it's always just some white guy in a suit talking about trans?
Ha!
Is that
It's a good question. I mean, they act like they are a voice for the working people, but often they have these journalistic mouthpieces that represent this fake populism that often isn't a representation of the working class, like what they need, workers' rights, increased pay. They don't talk about that stuff. It's all cultural nonsense not to talk about that stuff. And these guys are geniuses here because they're really pointing out like they benefit from the tragedies, they benefit from the culture war financially, and they're not really solving any problems. Like they're just there to create division, make money, and not really make the world a better place.
There are people you wouldn't interview, right? You wouldn't have a fascinating conversation with an American school shooter, but an interesting one with a backstory.
Well read.
Yeah, could do.
Okay,
Would
so
you?
that's a maybe. What about a Hamas freedom fighter in his tunnel? You went over there.
We've tried to interview Corbyn many times. He doesn't want to come on.
Don't badmouth Corbyn on this fucking podcast. Jokes aside.
Look at the colour of the curtains, Francis. Think twice about making Labour jokes, all right?
He was the prime minister that we could have had.
Yeah, that is true. We could have had.
That really threw me off. Don't insult Jeremy Corbyn. Because we already had the Nazi Leo curse here, and he was bad-mouthing Corbyn. I'm not going to have it again. You've been warned.
Oh, you had the Nazi Leo on.
Yeah.
How did it go?
Well, this is the thing. We were told to not have him on, and of course, it was a huge backlash. But the viewers went up, so I can see the appeal of leaning to that side.
Yeah.
Have you ever interviewed a guest that smells bad?
John Barnes?
John, but
You're telling me all those interviews and say, hey, Posey Parker, have a fucking shower. Jesus fucking Christ. You know, David Starkey, brush the choppers. We're having a long phone conversation. I mean, is that the reason why your set is now quite a long table?
no,
To
that's
avoid the stench. A lot of old guys you speak to, you know, halitosis is a real thing.
I mean, I tried to watch you,
yeah.
and I found myself agreeing at points with what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about the image of you sitting there with Constantine and Joe Rogan all smoking a fucking cigar, talking about the trans thing, all agreeing with each other, patting each other on the fucking backs and all logical and clear-headed. It was so smarmy. Like I actually felt myself gravitating to the other side just because it was so fucking annoying. Is that potentially the root of Identity War's problem? Is that you don't want to be associated with those cunts, so you go over there with those cunts? And I found myself thinking, is that my tribe? I walked in you three all smarmy with your cigar. By the way, cigar don't suit you, mate. I don't know what you I don't know what you were trying to get there. But is that the problem we got? Is that people are so worried about who they're not that they align themselves with someone else?
I think the problem is that a lot of people are scared.
Of
A lot of people are scared of being cancelled, of being denied opportunities, of having friendships.
You've got 1 million subscribers, mate. They always say, it's always this talking point, like, people with the biggest voices are getting cancelled. Like Joe Rogan, like, these people are, like Jordan Peterson, they have freedom, they have more reach and influence than anybody.
Ended, so they don't actually say what they really think or believe on a variety of hot button topics.
You got a big platform. You could say,
Why do they always assume that? Like, oh, like they've always got controversial, divisive views. Like most people don't care about trans issues. Most people like haven't got like hatred of trans or hatred of Palestinians. Like
whatever you want. I mean, you interviewed Weinstein.
Yeah, we interviewed Brett Weinstein. Yeah, we interviewed Brett Weinstein, not Harvey.
Do you think it's problematic to platform a sexual predator of that magnitude?
We never interviewed Harvey Weinstein.
So would you draw the line at a sexual predator? Maybe would you consider a Russell
Yeah,
Brand
we
interview, a Hugh Edwards, Gary
wouldn't-
Glitter?
We wouldn't get a left-wing comedian on.
Gary-
I think that's the reason we haven't got them on. So,
I don't know much about that world, but I do know one thing: men and women, things happen consensually. I mean, you've had a lot of intelligent broads on the show, right?
we have.
Was there one in particular that made you change your opinion and realize, hey, she's a real piece of ass? You know, like Barry Weiss. She's gorgeous, very maternal, very sexy, brainy broad.
Barry's wonderful. She's a very impressive human being. She left the New York
She
Times.
can occupy my territory, huh? Come on, I know what you were thinking. I mean, I don't want to be crass, but come on.
I am a very professional person. She is very happily married to a lady and has a baby.
That's fine. I'm queer, like I said, but you know, I mean, look, another one I watched,
Yes.
right?
I know
The
you. I
adult-
bet you'd watch that one.
The adult film star. I'm a huge fan. What research did you do for that interview?
I listened to some of her other podcasts
Oh, yeah.
talking about the industry, the
Did you not watch any of her?
I watched an interview and then I got my researchers to do a deep dive.
Because I
as well.
researched her.
Oh, right, did you? And what did you find?
I found that she's got a lot to say about free speech.
Yes, she does.
Sometimes she communicates without words. You never watched a single thing.
No.
Well, that's changes now.
You can get porn on your phone now.
Wait,
Tony's just found out.
Because I mean, come on. Let me find this here.
I'm going to end it there. Go and watch the rest of the video. We're halfway through. Subscribe to these guys. They're hilarious. Bad Boys Done Good. Comment on the video. Stimulate the algorithm. And I'll see you in the next video.